Hey there, let me ask you this. How many times have you found yourself in a conversation that just dies? The awkward pauses, the subtle panic creeping in as you scramble to find something to say next. You know the feeling, right? Today, we're diving into the art of conversation, and I'm going to show you how to keep any conversation flowing effortlessly. Whether you're at a party, on a date, or networking for your career, mastering conversation is a game changer. So, how do you not only start a great conversation, but keep it going in a way that feels natural, engaging, and fun? Buckle up, because I've got some powerful tips for you. All right, the first tip is simple but massively effective. Be genuinely curious. We often think that good conversationalists are those who know how to talk, but the truth is, they're often the best listeners. When you show real curiosity about the person you're speaking with, it creates an instant connection. Ask open-ended questions, ones that can't be answered with just a yes or no. For example, instead of asking, "Do you like your job?" you could ask, "What's the most exciting part of your job?" This kind of question opens the door for the other person to share more, which keeps the conversation flowing. People love to talk about themselves. When you're genuinely curious, it's like giving them a platform to express their thoughts, and that makes you instantly more likable. Here's where social intelligence really kicks in. Be present. We've all been guilty of this, half listening while thinking about what we're going to say next. But here's the thing, when you're fully present, not only do you pick up on what the other person is saying, you also notice nonverbal cues, like facial expressions, body language, or even small changes in tone. Think about it like this. If someone mentions they're fine, but their body language says otherwise, crossed arms, avoiding eye contact, you can steer the conversation deeper. Ask follow-up questions like, "You say fine, but it seems like something's bothering you. Want to talk about it?" Now, you're showing empathy and care, which keeps the conversation alive and builds trust. Now, this tip is crucial if you want to avoid those dreaded awkward silences. Relate, but don't dominate. It's tempting to share your own experiences as soon as someone talks about theirs, but too much of this can make the conversation feel one-sided. Instead, balance it out. Relating is great because it shows you're engaged, but always circle the conversation back to them. For example, if someone says they recently went on a trip to Italy, you could say, "Oh, I went there last year. Which city did you visit?" See how you brought it back to them after sharing a little about yourself? That keeps the flow going without making it all about you. All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in your conversation arsenal: the art of asking follow-up questions. These are your secret weapons for taking a basic conversation and turning it into something memorable. When someone shares something with you, instead of moving on to a new topic, dig deeper. For example, if someone says, "I love hiking," don't just respond with, "Oh, cool." Ask them, "What's the best hike you've ever been on?" Or, "What do you love most about it?" Follow-up questions show that you're not just hearing them, but actually listening, and that makes them feel valued. Next up, use body language to keep the conversation flowing. You'd be surprised at how much of a conversation is nonverbal. Open body language, like uncrossed arms, leaning slightly forward, and making eye contact, signals that you're engaged and interested. Even nodding or smiling at the right moments can encourage the other person to keep talking. If you seem closed off, arms crossed, looking away, it sends a signal that you're not really into the conversation, and that can shut it down fast. Now, let's talk about the power of humor. A little humor can go a long way in keeping a conversation light, fun, and memorable. You don't need to be a stand-up comedian, but knowing when to sprinkle in a joke or lighthearted comment can really help a conversation flow. Humor breaks down barriers and makes both people feel more relaxed. Just make sure it's appropriate for the setting and that you're not forcing it. A well-timed joke about a shared experience or even a funny observation can turn a boring conversation into something engaging. Lastly, here's a pro tip for keeping a conversation alive. End on a high note. When you feel the conversation is wrapping up, leave it on a positive or insightful point. That way, both you and the other person walk away feeling good about the interaction. For example, you could say, "This was a great conversation. I learned so much from talking to you." It leaves a lasting, positive impression and sets the stage for future conversations. So, there you have it, 7 tips to make any conversation smooth, engaging, and enjoyable. Remember, it's not about being the most talkative person in the room, but about being the most present one. Listen more than you speak, ask follow-up questions, use your body language, and stay genuinely curious. If you liked this video and found these tips helpful, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content on mastering social intelligence. Until next time, keep those conversations going, stay curious, and keep leveling up your social skills.